Hey everyone, we had the Elimination Chamber special pay-per-view. I guess it's a pay-per-view. I was about the length of a pay-per-view. Anyway, this is 2015 edition of the Elimination Chamber. I was actually able to watch this one live, so episode's going up a little earlier than usual. And, starting off with the kickoff show so far, there was news going in, which is Rusev was too injured to compete in the IC title, Intercontinental title, Elimination Chamber match. And, sorry, going a little bit off the top of my head here. Obviously, he was injured during the SmackDown taping. Episode aired on Thursday. Ryback threw him over the top rope, and when he landed, he sort of jammed his foot. They said it was a fractured foot. It actually looked to me more like a dislocated foot. But either way, he was injured. He could not compete. There was going to be a replacement for him. They would not announce who it was right off the bat. Booker T said that he had heard about the replacement, and it was going to be a former world champion. And I said, okay, going through some of the process of elimination, it's like, okay, that means it's either Orton, which it didn't quite seem like a good idea to put Orton right into the IC title picture right away. Kane, which, again, Kane's going to be in the main event. They're probably not going to throw him into a match right there. And Big Show. I thought, well, Big Show's supposed to be coming back soon. This would be an opportune time. Former world champion would make sense. Not so much the case, but we'll get to that when that match happens. Also, all three members of the New Day, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E, would be competing in their Elimination Chamber match for the Tag Team Championships. Excuse me. Okay, and after that, we actually had a match on the kickoff show. It was Zack Ryder against Stardust. Nothing too big in this. Early on, Ryder hit a faceplant and then clothesline Stardust out of the ring. Stardust locked in a modified surfboard. Might have been a bow and arrow hold. It was kind of like a surfboard, except it was more sideways and more of a... like a bow and arrow, except he rolled back on his back like you would a surfboard. So, anyway, Ryder countered that, managed to counter out of that, hit a suplex and a neck breaker. Ryder hit a broski boot for the 2. And then Stardust hit his finisher, the Crossroads, or as he's now calling it, the Queen's Crossbow, because of his feud with Stephen Amell, the Star of Arrow. Anyway, Stardust got the pin right after that. After that, we got the brief Lana Twitter Q&A. Lana has no information on Rusev. She likes Dolph. Rusev's treatment of her has changed her opinion on the USA. Somehow. Actually, I just needed to fill out pages on this note, sorry. After that, we had the Miz TV Daniel Bryan interview. Not much to say. Daniel Bryan was there to say, I'm going to present the new Intercontinental Champion, the belt. My career is not over. Miz said something about needing to promote him in Hollywood. The Mega Powers came out, or the Meta Powers, or everyone on the internet calls them the Meta Powers. I'm going to call them the Meta Powers. The Meta Powers come out, beat up Miz. That's kind of it. And then JBL gave a tour of the Elimination Chamber. Yeah. And that brings us to the show proper. There we go. Sorry, lost my spot in the notes. Starting things off, we have the Tag Team Championship match in the Elimination Chamber. The New Day versus Los Matadores versus Lucha Dragons versus the Ascension versus the Primetime Players versus Kid and Cesaro. The first two teams in were the Lucha Dragons and the Ascension. Early on, there was a spot where Kalisto tried to climb to the... Now, well, actually, I should preface this a little bit. When the teams were making their entrances, Los Matadores brought El Torito into the ring, and they put him up onto their Elimination Chamber pod. I'm assuming anyone watching this knows how the Elimination Chamber works, so I'm not going to get too far into that. Anyway, El Torito was standing up on the Elimination Chamber pod, and he seemed to be standing pretty well. The reason I bring this up is early on with the New Day, not the New Day, Lucha Dragons and the Ascension starting off the match, there was a spot where Kalisto climbed the pod that the New Day was in, but somehow his leg went through because apparently there's mesh on the top of the pods. It's the chamber mesh that you see, the chain links everything. And because of that, Kalisto got stuck, and then it was hard to tell whether or not the New Day was trying to pull him in or push him out or just hold him there. It was a weird spot. It unfortunately did drag the match down a little bit. Sin Cara hit a senton for the... It was supposed to be, I think, a dueling senton thing that between Sin Cara and Kalisto on the Ascension, but that didn't really happen. But the third team in was Cesaro and Kid. Cesaro eventually got his hands on Kalisto and superplexed him off the pod and into the ring. After that, the fourth team in were Los Matadores, at which point El Torito leapt off of the pod and hit head scissors on Cesaro. Kalisto then managed to climb to the roof of the chamber and did kind of a basically cross-body drop onto Cesaro and the Ascension. And I want to say Tyson Kidd was in there, but I'm not entirely sure. The Ascension hit the Follow Man on, I think it was Epico, or was it Primo? Well, one of the Matadores. Matadores are eliminated. The Ascension then hit the Follow Man on Kalisto. 3 count. Lucha Dragons are eliminated. The fifth team in was the Primetime Players. The Primetime Players come in, immediately take it right to the Ascension, take them out. Pin 1, 2, 3, Ascension gets eliminated. Kid and Cesaro and the Primetime Players fight for a while. There's a spot where Titus O'Neil, Darren Young was up on the ropes. Cesaro was trying to hit a gut-wrench suplex. Titus O'Neil came in and wound up hitting a powerbomb as Cesaro was hitting the gut-wrench suplex. And they both just all landed down. O'Neil covered for a 2 count, but didn't get much. Last team in were the New Day. Early on, the Primetime Players and Kid and Cesaro hit a big triple superplex on all 3 members of the New Day. Kid and Cesaro locked Xavier Woods into his chamber pod because earlier on Woods had stated that he was claustrophobic. Then they hit their swinging dropkick finisher on... Oh, I'm trying to think. Was it Big E? Or was it Titus O'Neil? I think it was Big E. But in the midst of that, Darren Young rolls up Cesaro for the 3, and Kid and Cesaro are eliminated. This leaves down New Day and the Primetime Players. Eventually, Woods got freed by Big E. At another point, the New Day took Titus O'Neil's head and they just rammed him so hard into the mesh around for the chamber that O'Neil's head actually got stuck into one of the loops, and it didn't look like he was going to get through. At this point, they then tried to set up Darren Young for a move. This resulted in Big E inadvertently spearing everyone except Darren Young, into one of the Elimination Chamber pods. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This kind of enabled Young to get to O'Neil, free him up. Primetime Players start kicking butt and taking names. Unfortunately, O'Neil starts going for a big finisher. Darren Young goes for his finisher, and Big E chop blocks him, and this enables Woods to then hold Young and Kofi to hit the Trouble in Paradise. Woods covers for the 3. The New Day are still tag team champions. Sorry about fumbling that there. Need a drink. Okay, on to the next match, which is the triple threat match for the Divas Championship between Nikki Bella, Paige, and Naomi. There's not much to say about this match. It was your average triple threat match. Early on, Naomi pulled Nikki out of the ring, kind of threw her around, then got back into the ring, started throwing Paige around, went for a crossbody but missed. Nikki Bella came back into the ring, hit a Alabama Slam on Naomi. No, she had an Alabama Slam on Paige, and then Naomi rolled her up for a 2 count. A similar spot to the tag team match. There was a German suplex power bomb off the top rope with all 3 of them. I think Paige was up for the Naomi was trying to German suplex Paige, and Nikki Bella came in under and hit a power bomb on them. Not the best analogy for that, I'm sorry. Nikki hits the rack attack. Oh, no, wait. There was one other spot. Nikki went for the rack attack. Naomi hit her with the rear view. Paige got up and tried to put the PTO on Nikki Bella, but Naomi interfered. Then Nikki, in the schmaz, Nikki hit the rack attack for the 3 and the win. And then Brie came down to the ring and the Bellas celebrated. Bellas are the only divas that matter, as I say in pretty much every one of these things. And that leads us to the 3rd match, and a big one. John Cena versus Kevin Owens. Champion versus champion, though neither of their belts are on the line in the match. Early on, Owens just pounded Cena into the corner. Cena would counter, hit a running bulldog, and then again Owens just continued to pound Cena. Cena tried to go for an AA, but Owens countered it into a DDT for a 2 count. Owens begins showboating to the crowd. Cena rolled him up for a 2 count. Owens hit a sidewalk slam into the white noise for a 2 count. Owens hit a rolling dive in the corner for a 2 count. Owens hit a pop-up powerbomb for a 2 count. Owens then tried to climb to the top rope. Cena knocked him down initially. Eventually they fought in the corner. Owens knocked Cena down. Managed to get to the top rope. Went for a moonsault. Cena dodged out of the way. And Cena rolled out of the way. Then he hit Owens with an attitude adjustment for a 2 count. Owens then hit a super kick, then tried to go for the 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena then countered that into an SDF. Owens managed to roll out of that, though, and then hit the AA on John Cena for a 2 count. Then Owens hit another powerbomb on John Cena for a 2 count. Cena began to rally again. He hit the springboard into the stunner. 2 count. And then suddenly out of nowhere, Owens hits another pop-up powerbomb for the 3 in the win. John Cena put Kevin Owens... Sorry, there's a jet going over. I don't know if you can hear that or not. John Cena put over Kevin Owens in a clean match. It's kind of astonishing. It was a great match, too. Knew Owens was good enough to work with a match with Cena. Kind of thought that Cena was going to win it if it were going to be a clean finish. If Owens were to win, it would have been a dirty finish, or he'd have his foot on the ropes. But no, Cena put him over clean, and that is a genuine surprise. Okay, the match after that was Adrian Neville against Bo Dallas. Yeah, it was a very average match. Neville hit a big move onto the outside of the ring. At one point, Bo Dallas tried to do a schoolboy roll-up, but kind of rolled Neville through the ropes, and Neville hit the back of his head on the floor. Another point, Dallas kind of got thrown into the corner and hit his head onto the second turnbuckle pad. Bo Dallas went for the running Bodog. Neville countered, hit the Enziguri, and then hit the Red Arrow for the 3 in the win. And that brings us to the 5th match, and the Elimination Chamber match for the Intercontinental Championship that was vacated by Daniel Bryan. Sheamus versus King Barrett versus Dolph Ziggler versus Ryback versus R-Truth versus Mark Henry. Yeah, it's not that I forgot that Mark Henry was a world champion as much as I forgot that Mark Henry was still on the active roster. I mean, I don't think he's been used since, I want to say, WrestleMania. And even then, I don't think he was used before that. Yeah, so, either way. The first 2 men in the match were King Barrett and Dolph Ziggler. Not much happened early on, a few spots here and there. Third man in was R-Truth. Barrett attacked Truth before he could even get out, just as he was getting out of the pod. Another point, Barrett threw Ziggler into the ring post. Got a 2 count out of it. The fourth man in was actually Mark Henry. That's because Barrett threw Ziggler into the pod, into Mark Henry's pod. He knocked the plexiglass thing out, and because of that, Mark Henry basically just said, "Well, it's a no disqualification match. I'm going in," and well, that was that. The next man in right after that, because it was literally like a minute before the next guy was supposed to go in that Mark Henry entered the match. So, quite literally, like right after that, Ryback enters the match. At this point, Truth hit the little Jimmy on Barrett for the 3 count. Barrett was eliminated. Let's see. At which point, then the buzzer went off for Sheamus to enter the ring, but for some reason his door just got stuck. They couldn't get it open. He was getting angry. At this point, in the ring, Ziggler, Ryback, and Truth began teaming up on Mark Henry. It didn't last very long. Ryback hit a shell shock on R-Truth for a 3 count. Truth was eliminated. And Sheamus took his Celtic cross necklace and managed to pick the lock of the was it the lock or the hinge of the chamber pod, and that managed to free him up. And he immediately just went in and started kicking butt and taking names. He threw Ziggler into his pod for a few minutes, then hit a bro kick on Mark Henry, got the 3 count. Mark Henry eliminated. Sheamus then hit a bro kick on Ziggler. Ziggler was eliminated. Sheamus hit the white noise on Ryback out on the steel grating for the chamber. Got a 2 count. Sheamus tried to go for a bro kick on the chamber, or the steel grate, but Ryback caught him, countered, powerbombed him back into the ring. Ryback then hit the shell shock for the 3 and the win. Ryback, your new Intercontinental Champion. Kind of a mixed bag on this. This was not the best Elimination Chamber match. Of the two, obviously the tag team one was a little bit better. But, yeah. Like I said, mixed bag on Ryback being a champion. It's like, it's nice that he gets a belt at some point. I think, that's not a character where he just automatically gets over without a belt. At some point he needed to be a champion, even for the briefest point. Yeah. I seem to like the guy as a person. When he talks about his background and stuff like that, how he was eliminated, and he was eliminated from Tough Enough, and kind of put him into a depression, and he needed to start working better and work stronger, and eventually he made his way back to WWE. I mean, that's interesting stuff. Yeah, but in-ring talent, he's borderline. He does moves that get over. Like I said, not a bad guy. I'm not jazzed about it. But Daniel came in, presented Ryback with the Intercontinental belt. Ryback said, "You're not just an inspiration to the fans, you're an inspiration to all the guys in the back." And then they did the yes thing. Excuse me. And that leads us into our main event. Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And, while this match wasn't bad, it was very pedestrian. I'll just tell you that right now. And I think the problem was, this was on a card with 3 really strong matches. Even that Intercontinental Elimination Chamber match, which was, an average Elimination Chamber match, I'd still say it was a better match than this. And because of that, I think it's just kind of ho-hum, as has to be expected. It started off slow, and it just didn't. Wrist locks, hammer locks, sleeper holds, arm drags. Ambrose tangled Rollins in the ropes, hit the drop kick. Then he hit a guillotine leg drop, got a 2 count out of it. Ambrose tried to climb to the top rope, but J&J security interfered. Like I said, pedestrian. This enabled Rollins to come back and hit a double stomp on Ambrose. They took each other out with crossbodies. Again, pedestrian. Ambrose hit a face plant for 2. Ambrose hit a suicide dive for the ropes, which and the momentum carried both he and Rollins over the announce table. You know, Rollins then tried a backslide pin, put his feet on the ropes for leverage. You know, ref noticed. Rollins then hit a suicide. No. Okay, yeah. They rolled outside the ring. Sorry about that. My notes got a little fuzzy here. They rolled outside the ring. Rollins hit a power bomb on Ambrose into the barricade. Ambrose hit a tornado DDT for a 2. Rollins then hit a suicide dive, which knocked Ambrose into the announce table. Yeah. Again, the match is essentially repeating itself now. And then at some point, Ambrose went up for his elbow drop off the top rope, but Rollins pulled the referee into the path of the elbow drop. And there was mass confusion. Ref's out of the ring. He's unconscious. Rollins starts to go for the pedigree, but Ambrose blocks it. Yeah, I don't know what's so interesting up there, but Rollins went for the pedigree. Ambrose blocks it. Rollins goes for his corkscrew maneuver. Ambrose dodges out of the way, hits the redeed, covers Rollins. New referee runs into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Everyone starts celebrating. Dean Ambrose has won the championship. And then they dusty roads it. They dusty finished it. If you don't know the lingo, a dusty finish would happen a lot in the old NWA 400 to WCW. When Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes were feuding over the NWA championship, invariably there would be a match between the two. Something would happen. The ref would get knocked out. Someone else would interfere. Like the ref would just get up at the point to. Another ref would run into the ring, count the 3. Dusty would win the title, but then the original ref would come out and say, "No, this guy knocked me. Disqualification. No, this guy was in the ring. Disqualification." Or, you know, the champion would say, no, that's not the original referee. You can't do that. So something would happen, and the champion would wind up retaining the title. That's exactly what happened here. Rollins winds up retaining the title because it was actually a DQ, and title can't change by hands of... The title can't change hands by way of disqualification. At this point, you know, the Authority, save for Triple H, Big Show, start beating up on Ambrose. Roman Reigns comes down, starts clearing house. This enables Ambrose to get his hands on the World Championship belt. He basically gets all the way and says, "Well, I'm taking this. I won the match. I'm taking the belt. What are you going to do to stop me?" And the Authority try to give pursuit, but Rollins and Ambrose hightail it through the crowd. And that was kind of it. Like I said, average match. Probably if you... I mean, not even to do this exact kind of match, but if you were to do this type of match... Sorry. If you were to do this match, I would have saved it for Money in the Bank. Don't put it on a show with 2 Elimination Chamber matches and the match between Owens and Cena. Exactly. Like, that just kind of drew things a little bit out. I would have had like a tag match, put Kane or someone in against Reigns and Ambrose. Would have worked fun. It would have worked just as well. Because that it does sort of knock this down a bit. This went from being a really good to... Well, no, this went from being... I wouldn't put it in great. I would put it into a high really good to more of a... just above average. Well, not quite just... Boy, I'm flip-flopping all over the damn place here. Sorry. Like I said, not an entire waste of my time. Maybe it didn't need to be 3 hours long. If this was supposed to be a network exclusive special, you could have made this 2.5 hours. Like I said, either drop the Owens Ambrose match, save that for Money in the Bank, or something else. One last thing, they announced some of the competitors for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I'll go through here. Just a sec. Okay. Then for the money in the this is for the Money in the Bank ladder match at the pay-per-view. It was Ziggler, Orton, Neville, Kofi Kingston, which is a bit of a surprise, Roman Reigns, and Sheamus. Now they said these are not the only ones competing in this match, and I was like, really, you have Neville in there. He's going to be your big spot guy. It's like, why are you putting Kofi in there? Does that mean New Day is not going to have a tag title match? Or if they are, is it going to be Woods and Big E? Or are they going to replace Kofi at some point? Well, either way, I've got to start wrapping things up here. Am I missing it? Oh, like I said, not a complete lit waste, but maybe I didn't need to see it live. It didn't need to be 3 hours. You could have put a different match in, or not even had the Rollins-Ambrose match. Would have been okay. Let's see. This will probably be going up on Monday, because by the time this gets posted, it'll be midnight. So the next Monday after this one, May 8th, the OMAC Project Random Trade Review will be up. Part of the way through scripting that now. Hopefully I'll get that shot and everything by Friday. See you next time.